What's up, Met fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets at Rob. Mets 2022 season preview right here on Talking Mets at Rob, guys. Here with all of you. We'll get to your comments and say what up to everybody shortly, guys. So here we are, guys. 1 week away from opening day, April 7th, for the New York Mets in Washington. Jacob deGrom on the mound against probably one of the worst teams most likely in baseball, even though, they do have a couple of power bats and prominent players, in Nelson Cruz and Juan Soto. They don't have a lot of players in that lineup. So we're going to get into everything today, guys, with the New York Mets over the next 2 hours from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm going to take you right into the Mets game tonight, and we'll go into a little bit of a preview for the game. But today's stream is all about lineup projections, bullpen projections, record projections, everything that we have to talk about, rotation projections, everything that we need to look at today about our New York Mets going into the season 1 week away. Basically, almost everything's settled with the roster. Maybe like one or two more have to get off the roster. You kind of know that certain rules require certain things for the roster to be basically 13 pitches on the roster. So it seems like it's going to be 8 bullpen, 5 rotation guys, and one guy that's in the bullpen will probably be somewhat of a long man. And we'll get into that in a little bit while we talk about the bullpen as well. But when it comes to the lineup, this is the lineup that I thought of that I think would be actually good. And we will go into it in a little bit. And also, of course, my prediction for the Mets record this year. If you've been following my streams over the last couple of weeks, I kind of gave you a hint of what the record could look like, because I did say their record could be from 88 to 94. We did a poll about a week ago in a stream that it was about 75% of the people who were following the stream that day voted for an average range of Mets record wins 88 to 94. And that's basically where I'm going to be. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. So we're going to start with the rotation, which is almost for about 99% set that we probably know the rotation. The bullpen, it really is questionable of which guys could still make the team. But I kind of put the guys that I wanted to put in there, thinking that would make more sense altogether. I would also put in with the lineup, and then we will go into the record. So before we get started with all of that, we got a 2-hour show today, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And don't forget, guys, if you just tune in, hit on that like button so we can get the stream out to more Met fans, so we can all talk about the 2022 season preview. 1 week away from opening day, guys. I'm all set, ready to go. Got my new scorebook, the Bob Carpenter scorebook. It's going to be looking good this year. A little bit more compact than the damn binder that I used to do. I bought like 4 of those suckers, so we're gonna be good to go this year. So it's gonna be a lot of fun this year, guys, with live streaming games with you guys, being at games and live streaming during the 5th inning. And before we get into everything we need to do with the 2022 season, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the channel and what you guys should be expecting in the 2022 season right here on Talking Mets at Rob. So whoever's tuning in right now in the stream or later in the stream, whoever replays it, when the season starts, guys, it will be subscriber mode only, because there's been a lot of scams and a lot of hackers that been trying to get into streams and messing with YouTube. And I actually got an email from YouTube stating that they need to they can cause damage to certain things in my YouTube studio and including my laptop. So what I'm going to do is, when the season starts, guys, you got to be a subscriber to start getting into the live streams, guys. So subscriber mode only during the live streams, if it's during the game or even the 5th inning of a game. Maybe in the 5th, when I do 5th inning live, when I'm at a game, I probably won't do subscriber mode, only because it's only about a half hour or 35 minutes or so. So it shouldn't be too worrisome when it comes to spammers on YouTube. It's usually the long live streams that actually get the spammers going in these live streams. So also, when it comes to the channel, when I go live when I'm at a game, it will be during the 5th inning of every game I attend, no matter if it's home or the road, so you guys can get the in-game experience while I'm at the game. I'll talk to you in the chat, say what's up to everybody, and everybody will have a good time during that 5th inning. Also, I love doing the scorecards during most of the games. No matter if I'm there at the game or at home. I'm working on trying to like put a second camera focused on the scorecard alone, and it would be like a second camera there and second photo, so you can look how I do the scorecard and you have an idea of the game as well. So I'm thinking about doing that. Not 100% sure yet, just to make sure everything works, because I don't want a crappy stream for you guys. And that's what we'll be doing during the season. Also, what I'd be doing, if you're a member of Talking Mets with Rob, there's a couple of memberships. There's a few guys that are already there. I think I saw Sean Grant so far. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. If you're a member of Talking Mets with Rob, you are actually in the running every month for free giveaways. That can be for bobbleheads, t-shirts, gift cards, hats, everything you can think of that you can, any type of merchandise. And I'm actually going to do probably every other month, I'm going to do a 7-line gift card to give away for members. So if you want to become a member, just click on that join button, guys. Look at the different memberships. And just so you know, guys, the biggest membership on Talking Mets with Rob, the $14.99 one, it gives you an opportunity to win free Mets tickets every month. And you'll be in the running for a giveaway for that as well. So that's what we're looking at right here, guys. And I hope everybody takes a look at the membership and everything you want to do with the channel, guys. And if you have any ideas about what you think the channel should look like as well, let me know, guys, because I'm not just doing this for me, guys. I'm doing it to entertain you guys as well. So if you think of anything, let me know in the comments, guys, and we can talk about it. So with no more further ado in my annoying monologue, let me say what up to everybody in the chat. John, Michael, a member of Talking Mets with Rob, Grant, Nelson, I did get your email. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but I will email you the answer later tonight. Steve, Joe, Steven, Sean, a member of Talking Mets with Rob, La Potencia, Billy, hey Billy, what's up, buddy? Victor, Daryl, Lane, Daniel, Webbs, Christian, what's up? How you guys doing? Once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button, guys. I'll be with you until 6 o'clock tonight for this Mets 2022 season preview, talking about records, lineups, bullpen, rotation, and everything else, any other questions that you guys are going to have. So, John, how are you doing, buddy? Michael, how are you doing? Grant, I think I saw one of your comments that you're driving home from work. So drive safe, buddy. Let's see if anybody got. And Joe said end the lockout. Oh God, remember those days? I feel like it's a year ago. Billy, man, have a long time no see, buddy. I'm glad you're back. Yeah, Victor. Thank you. I took a couple of days off. It was my days off, so I needed a little bit of a break. Those lockout streams and the free agent frenzy streams. It was a lot of hours and a lot of work into the stream, into the channel. So it takes time, takes work. So I just took a couple of days, and I thought I'll go live today before the game, and I'll probably go live tomorrow, the last day of March, and talk more Mets baseball. So what else we got? Daryl. What do you think about Pete Walker's DUI, and you think he will be in trouble? If so, what will he get? He'll probably get suspended, if not fired. I don't think they'll fire him just yet. They might, but I think they would just probably suspend him a little bit, based on all the facts. If he, I don't know if he got convicted of it yet. I don't know if he's going through the process, but we'll see. But I think he should get suspended, not fired. I always believe in second chances. Lane, can the Mets sign Matt Watson? I'm thinking about. I think you mean Tony Watson. Yeah, that would be nice. But what I seem like the Mets are doing, based on the couple of cups over the last couple of days, they look like Jason Shreve is going to be the only lefty in the bullpen. So, and we'll look at that in a little bit with my projected bullpen arms that are going to be going up north. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yes, they should get Watson. Webbs, what's up, buddy? I would like to selfishly ask everyone to say a prayer for my wife. She's in hospital and recently got word she has a splenic aneurysm. Holy Christ. Webbs, yeah, man. Prayers to your wife. God, Jesus. Wow. Well, hopefully she pulls through, guys. Say a quick prayer for Webbs' wife. Hopefully she comes out of this perfectly fine and can go back to her family. And Webbs can, enjoy his time in his opening day and everything else. But more importantly, hopefully your wife's okay, Webbs. Hopefully you're doing good, and hopefully keep your spirits up, buddy. I've dealt with close family members in the past dealing with things, so I completely understand. But take care of yourself and your wife, man. Jose, how you doing, buddy? What's up, Rob? Rob, where's Condor to sign in? I'm not sure what that means, but if you can retype it, I can understand it. But thank you for tuning in. Yeah, exactly. What lockout? I never heard of it. Anthony, thank you for tuning in. Will there any Mets make any more moves, trades or sign-ins? Trades probably not. Sign-ins, the only person I can think of is Tony Watson. We were just talking about a couple seconds ago. Yeah, I mean, if Tony Watson is probably the only logical choice at this point, maybe Conforto, maybe, but I doubt that one also. So I would look for maybe Tony Watson, maybe, but other than that, yeah, probably not at this point. Webbs, keep your spirits up, buddy. Billy, Robert, you going to the Mets home? Yes, I am. I will be there on Friday against the Diamondbacks. I definitely will be there on April 15th and 16th and 17th. I actually might have another opening day ticket if anybody is interested. I actually do have an extra opening day ticket. So if you're interested, it's much of a discount than what I paid. It's just that I bought a ticket and somebody couldn't go last minute. Well, it's not really last minute, but told me they couldn't go. So it was a hefty price to pay. But if you guys need an extra ticket, just email me. You know my email is metsfan813@gmail. Just email me and we can arrange it if you want. Let's see. Yeah, Billy's back after the lock. Yeah, Christian, I need some Scooby snacks, man. I don't know. I think I need a little bit stronger stuff than that. I don't know. But yeah, definitely, guys. So yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun with you guys when it came to all the streams during the lockout. I mean, we were very upset during the lockout. I mean, it was probably, I think everybody was just on edge and just pissed off at the world during that time, but it was a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of people that found the channel because of that, because of all those streams during the lockout. All right. So what else we got? Let's see. Joe, I'm sorry about that. I lost my mom in 2015, so I understand the pain with that. That's for sure. Yeah, Jose, I don't know if Conforto. I don't know. You know what? If he doesn't sign in the next couple of days before opening day, I think the teams are going to wait until after the draft, so the draft pick compensation is gone, and then they'll sign him. It'd be like a early season acquisition, basically. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, Lane. I think the Mets are going to give him a chance to see what he can do during the first month, and if not, they'll just get rid of him. That's just my problem. Thank you, MB. Uh, Lexi, thank you for tuning in. First time I think I seen you type in a comment. I could be wrong, but I thank you for tuning in, buddy. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button. Yeah. So with Carrasco, guys, I don't know. You know, he had a problem last year when he came back late in the season with first inning runs. That was a huge problem. It seems like it started out to be a huge problem in spring training. If he can control that, he usually gets better when the game goes on. So again, if Carrasco can be 70, 80% of what he was in Cleveland, I take that. Honestly, give us, he's out, he's gonna be our fourth starter. So we're not looking at him to go 7 innings. Give me 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs, and we're good to go at this point. I don't think anymore. I can't think any more of that. Every now and then he pitches a gem. I'd be happy, guys, honestly. But at the end of the day, He's going to be our fourth starter. So what are you expecting from any team, any pitcher as your fourth or fifth starter? Probably 5 innings on a really good day, 6 innings. So that's all I'm looking for college guys. Give me 5 or 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. Keep us in the ball game. That's what you want to expect from your back end of the rotation, your fourth and fifth starters, keeping you in the game and giving you at least 5 innings. Victor, sorry, Joe. It's either the Rangers and a random team didn't say the other team. I still think it's the Mets, guys. I just don't know why. I just feel like the Mets are just there waiting. Yes, Victor, Lindor and McNeil are looking excellent in spring training, but I want to temper my enthusiasm with that because Lindor was hitting big time in spring training last year, and we know how that went during the 2021 season. McNeil, on the other hand, it seems like he's looking good in spring training. Last year, he didn't look good at spring training at all, and it trickled into the season. So when it comes to McNeil, because the way he's hitting, he's choking up on the bat more. He's going the other way more. He's not swinging for the fences. So that's what I like to see with that. So, but it's a nice sign for Lindor and McNeil because let's be honest, guys, and we're going to talk about this later with the lineup. The New York Mets don't have a lot of big time power bats in this lineup. Yes, you could talk about Escobar. Yes, you could talk about if Dominic Smith is in as the everyday DH, or if Lindor has a breakout, a Cleveland type of year and can hit you 30 bombs, but I doubt it. I'm expecting Lindor around 25, 26 home runs. There's not a lot of power in this lineup, so we're gonna have to manufacture and drive in a lot of runs, not including the home run ball. So that's something that we have to look at, and we definitely get into that a little later with the lineup. Danny, that's kind of funny actually. I don't care for the Oxes. I just didn't care. I would have known if I didn't check social media, honestly. But I seem to think it was real because Will Smith didn't seem very happy about that when he sat back down and screamed back at Chris Rock. But that was fun. That was interesting. That was the most views in a long time that the Oscars got. So Plaxi, that's big possibility. Mothman, what's up, buddy? Oh yeah, Billy. That's probably true. The only way I see if anybody, like I said, I'll see the number of viewers per like minute, but I don't see who is in the stream unless you guys text chat in the chat box. So other than that, Billy, you might have been, like I said, there could have been a lot of people. I wouldn't know unless you guys say something in the chat. But yeah, that's cool, man. Appreciate you actually speaking up, saying what's up today. That's always fun. Mothman, I hope you're right. Yeah, the big thing with Conforto, guys, is just that he had a bit late last year. He has a draft pick compensation attached to him. Nobody wants to give him a multi-year deal because they don't trust him, and no team is going to give him a 1-year deal unless they're extremely desperate and give up the draft pick at the same time. Yeah, Jose, it's been confirmed that the Mets, prior to the 2021 season, offered Michael Conforto a contract extension. It was a little more than $100 million. I don't know the years. I'm assuming it'd probably be like 5 years, and he declined it. So, oh well. Will Smith versus Lindor. I don't know. Lindor will probably just put the thumbs down, and then Will Smith will probably try to smack him. But then again, Lindor's a choker. Since last year with McNeil. So, all right, Billy, have a good day, buddy. Yeah, honestly, prior to 2021, if somebody would have said 5 years, 150 for Conforto, most Met fans would have been happy if he accepted that deal because everybody loved Conforto after the 2020 season. It's just all of a sudden 2021 he had one bad year in his career, and everybody's ready to throw him out the door. So I would have been okay with it if it was last year, but I don't see. I would have been happy if the Mets did it this year. But I mean, he's in his prime. I just think he had really one bad year. I think whoever he goes to, he's going to perform. Let's just hope he's not in the NL East and he kills the Mets. So, guys, it's 4:20 right now. So, what I'm going to start to do, I'm going to start talking about each and every prediction that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Just give me a second, guys. Just look at something. What did I do? Hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at something. Don't mind me. All right. Here we go. Bullpen. Lineup. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking for the lineup. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. All right, there we go. Now I got all my screens ready to go. All right, so what we're gonna do first, guys, I'm gonna go through the rotation at first. My predictions for the rotation, obviously not predictions based on records and ERA, just who's gonna be in the rotation, because there was a little bit of speculation that Tyler McGill or David Peterson might beat out one of the two guys, Carrasco or Walker, but I doubt that's gonna happen. So it's obviously easy to figure out the rotation. But before we do that, I'm just going to open up the rotation and share the screen, guys, so we can discuss it. Ready? Do that really quick. Just give me a second, guys, so I can set it up so we can discuss. Alrighty. So it's going to come up just now. Oh boy, this is annoying. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, of course I can't do that. That's annoying. All right, well, I got to get permission from StreamYard. That's annoying. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I thought it would actually work, but what else to do? Nothing works in this. Nothing can work, but what can we do, guys, right? All right. All right, now I can do it. All right, here we go. All right, a little technical difficulty, guys. Deal with me, guys. I'm sorry about that. There we go. All right, here we go. That's what I like to see. All right, let me just move this. All right, guys. So this is my projected lineup that I put in today. So basically, it's pretty obvious what the projected line rotation is going to be. So I put Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Carlos Carrasco, and Taijuan Walker. I know that's not no breaking news, but I just wanted to throw that out there because it just makes sense. The fact that the rotation is kind of obvious at this point, but they are ranked the number one rotation in baseball, which kind of makes sense because any three of these top three guys can be an ace on most staffs, 75% of the league, probably more. And then Carlos Carrasco and Taijuan Walker could easily be a three in most rotations. So that is exactly what my projected rotation would be. Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Carlos Carrasco, and Taijuan Walker. Again, not breaking news here. Obviously, it's pretty obvious what the rotation is going to look like. Tyler McGill and David Peterson are going to be depth pieces in the minor leagues. You know, if there's any injury, one of those two guys are going to get called up. If there's a double header, probably one of those two guys are going to get called up. And we got a few of them already. There's already been a schedule. I think our first doubleheader is against the Braves on May 3rd, and it's a Tuesday. So one of those two guys are probably going to pitch, either David Peterson and Tyler McGill, if it's their time in the rotation. So you don't have to worry about using your bullpen for a game. So that is your my projected lineup rotation. Excuse me: Jacob DeGrom, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Carlos Carrasco, and Taijuan Walker. Uh, I don't know if you guys would probably want McGill over one of these two guys at the end of the rotation. Let me know in the comments, guys, so we can actually discuss it a little bit, and then we'll go from there. And yes, Christian, Yohan Lopez, the Mets did claim him off for waivers yesterday and put him in minor league camp. So another depth arm that we can use for the Mets. So that's always a good sign. You always need depth in the minors, so you can't complain. Yeah, Nelson, exactly. When it comes to Taijuan Walker, as your fifth starter, I mean, he was what, our 3 last year, after Syndergaard went down. So, and before DeGrom went down, he was number 3. When DeGrom went down, he was supposed to be your 2, and clearly that didn't work out too well. So, I could actually see Tyler McGill probably breaking the rotation at some point, or at least coming to make a start in May when we have our first doubleheader to make up the games that we missed in the first week of the season. So, yeah, when it comes to Carlos Carrasco and Taijuan Walker, again, you can't complain that these guys are your 4th and 5th starters. Even if it was opposite and it was David Peterson and Tyler McGill, it's still guys that, you got 2 veterans, especially Carrasco, who's been around the block. I think, if he's coming out of spring healthy, I think he's going to be okay. Yeah, Brooklyn guy, exactly. 190 innings each, absolutely. I mean, I could see that easily from Max Scherzer and DeGrom. And Chris Bassett, he's a workhorse, so I can see him doing that as well. Carrasco and Walker, because they're the 4th and 5th starter, I don't see them going probably. I can see Taijuan Walker, because he had a year under his belt last year, going to 145, 150 innings. Carrasco, I'm worried about, honestly. I see Brooklyn guy just said, I think he's done. I believe that 100%. Yeah, I kind of think that Carrasco is. I don't know if he's like 100% done, but I don't think he's going to be the guy that we saw in Cleveland. I think he's just going to be if he gives us 5 innings, 3 runs, you're going to have to take it, especially a guy as your 4th starter, honestly. But again, I think Carrasco's on a short lease. It's last year of his deal. I don't think, the Mets are trying to win. If Tyler McGill or David Peterson are pitching well in the minors and Carrasco's just terrible, you can always throw Carrasco in the bullpen and put him as a long man and then bring up Peterson or McGill if you don't see any progress from Carrasco. I know it was a big deal with, when he had the cancer, and obviously that takes out a lot out of you, and, who knows how much that took out of him, overall with energy and strength and everything like that. So it's unfortunate, but you know what? Baseball is a business, and fans want to win. I'm glad he's healthy. That's number one. But at the end of the day, it's based on performance. And I do think Carlos Carrasco probably won't be long in the rotation. But I have no problem if Carrasco is okay, fine. But, like I said, 5 innings, 3 runs is probably what you would expect from any 4th or 5th starter in any rotation at this point in time, especially with the way pitchers get taken out so quickly nowadays. I don't see it as a bad thing. Again, we have loaded guns in the minors with Peterson, McGill, and, if you want to talk about Trevor Williams as well and Yamamoto as well, the Mets have a lot of options that they didn't have in the past. Brooklyn, thank you so much about the channel. I really appreciate it. Again, Brooklyn, I'm a little low. You see, when we did the poll about a week ago with the range of Mets wins, most of the people, including myself, around 75% of us, said 88 to 94 wins. So you're right on cue with that. And 94 wins, exactly what you said, pitching holds up. If the pitching holds up, I can easily see 94 wins. But I do want to see how this offense is going to work. Because the Mets' problem, even with DeGrom out, Syndergaard out, and basically Stroman was your ace, and Taijuan Walker couldn't pitch in the second half, and Carrasco wasn't around, and you had McGill and everybody and their mother pitching in this rotation last year. The Mets pitching wasn't the problem last year. It was the offense. I mean, in August, we lost around 8 one-run games just because we couldn't score runs. So I want to see how this offense is going to be. They have scored a lot of runs in spring, but again, that's spring training. I want to see now. We got 4 games against the Nationals opening up the season. The Nationals are going to be one of the worst teams in the league, not including our division. They're probably going to be the worst team in our division. Their starting pitching is terrible. Strasburg is out. Corbin is their ace, and I don't think he's any good. You know, they got Fetty and other guys in that rotation that are not that good. All right, Brooklyn, fly safe, buddy. So that's basically what it is. Uh, like with this opening day series against the Nationals. Look, the Mets need to take advantage of a bad Washington team, and you know what? I'm not going to be mad if we lose the game because you know it happens. But I'm not going to be happy with anything less than 3-1 in the first series of the year because then we go to Philadelphia and then we play Arizona. So if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the the schedule for the first week and a half. Let me see. I think I'm right. I could be wrong though. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. So we play Washington 4 games, the Thursday through Monday. Then we got Philly for 3, and then we go for the home opener against Arizona. Because, like I said, we played the Nationals, Phillies, and Arizona. Arizona's probably not going to be that good, and the Nationals are going to be that good. So the first 10 games of the year, I want to be 7-3 at the least, because these teams are not that good. Because after that, we got San Francisco for 4 at San Francisco, and then we play Arizona, St. Louis, and Philly in the month of April. So we have a pretty good chance, guys, with this rotation and with the pretty somewhat easy schedule in April. We play the Phillies 6 times, we got Arizona 6 times, and we got the Nationals 4. So 10 games is between Arizona and Washington. We should be able to handle those teams. Those 10 games, go 7-3, and I'll be happy. And then you know you got Philly in there, and you also got the Giants. So who knows what the Giants are going to be? You know they did win 100 games last year. Who knows? But the Giants and Philly, you know, it's going to the Philly series, both home and road, are going to be very interesting. It seems like there's going to be a lot of runs scored. Maybe now, if our rotation can hold up against the powerful offense of the Phillies, because that's all the Phillies got. The Phillies offense is their best asset. Their pitching rotation is terrible. Their bullpen is okay. It's not great at all by any means. So the Mets have the opportunity in April to have a very good record in the first month of the year. And then the Mets have to do that. The Mets have to take advantage of these bad teams. You see all over baseball. You know what? The Yankees did that for years, taking advantage of the bad teams in the AL East all those years. You know, before the Rays were good, it was the Orioles, the Rays, and the Blue Jays who were the Blue Jays were kind of in between. They were like an okay team, but they were never that good. They were never a threat. And the Orioles and were terrible. And the Rays, except for like the last 8 years, other than that, the Yankees and the Red Sox had a field day in the AL East. So now that the Mets have a team that probably could be close to winning 90 games in the Nationals, you have to take full advantage of it when you play them 19 times a year. We've seen that with so many other teams that take advantage of bad teams in their division. The White Sox were a perfect example. They had 2 of the worst teams last year's in the NL3, basically in the AL Central, in the Royals and the Guardians last year. The 2 team and even the Tigers for that matter. You know, so they had 3 teams in their division that were pretty damn bad. So at that moment, you have to realize that you have to take advantage, especially with the dominance that this rotation is projected to be. I mean, you got basically 3 aces at the top of your rotation. Going into any series, most of the time, you're gonna have probably at least one of your top three guys going in a series. When it comes to the opening series, we're gonna have DeGrom and Carrasco. DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, Carrasco in the first series against Washington, and then Walker will start the Philly series, and then you also have Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer in that Philly series as well. And then in the home opener, it's looking like if everything goes correctly with no rainouts, Chris Bassett's going to make the home opener for the Mets on the 15th. So this rotation is the best in baseball if healthy, and there should be no reason why the Mets don't have between 92 and 94 wins with a healthy rotation, no doubt about it. So it is an awesome rotation. Hopefully they stay healthy. I mean, I think Max Scherzer has like a 2.2 ERA. DeGrom has a 1.8 ERA in spring. I mean, they just look dominant. The last time they pitched the same day, it was embarrassing the way how badly the batters looked against them two guys. DeGrom for 3, Scherzer for 6. It was beautiful to watch, beautiful to see, and we get to see that every 5th day. And thank God, because all the years we were waiting for Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Matz, all those guys that were supposed to be the new young rotation, and it never panned out. I think they went through their rotation once with all those young guys about 7 years ago. So, unfortunately, we don't have that. But the good news is that this rotation is the best in baseball as long as we stay healthy. You can say that with any team, but mostly for the Mets, based on the average age of this team, it's kind of old. So, we have to hope health is the main thing when it comes to the rotation specifically. Yeah, I just saw Christian. I just saw hey, Hayden, what's up, buddy? Football 12, how you doing? Leaf, how you doing? Harley, how you doing? Yes, Christian. Let me see. With the extra 2 roster spots for the first month, do you believe we will fill out those spots with pitchers, 15 and 13? Well, Christian, we can't have more than 13 pitchers on the roster. That's actually a new rule. I only just figured that out when I noticed when I was looking at projected rosters for the teams in the NL East because I was doing my research on doing my NL East projections and all that fun stuff with lineups and rotation. I looked at it, and every team has projections of 13 pitchers. And then I realized the rule says only 13 pitches on your roster. So that's interesting because now you're going to need 15 position players. So that's kind of interesting to me. Because, yes, I would like. Oh, Chris, you're right. That's right. Good call, buddy. The first month, that's right. That's right. It's active in May. That's right. Because the 28 team roster in the first month you're right. That's right, Christian. That was right. That was the part I did forget. You're right. So yeah, I would go that route just because we do have a lot of games with not a lot of off days in April because of the schedule getting pushed back a little bit. So I think we have 1 day off, maybe 2 in April. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 1, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I would go with the 15 pitches. That's a good situation where you might see, maybe another lefty like Claudio that might be the second lefty in that bullpen, and you might bring up a long man. You might bring up McGill or Peterson just in case of something goes around. So, that I would go 15 pitches just to be safe because with the DH, you don't need a lot of position players, especially you don't need a big bench anymore or a large bench anymore because you're not double switching, you're not taking pitches out in the lineup anymore, so you just have to worry about the DH. So the bench is somewhat irrelevant based on how many guys you need on your bench. Obviously defensive situations when you want it late in games. Other than that, I think it'll be a smart move to put 15 pitchers in the first month, especially when coming out of a shortened spring training. Most of these guys, probably Bassett, DeGrom, Carrasco and Walker are probably not going past 5 innings. Their first two go arounds probably. Scherzer is a nut. I mean, you already seen him go 6 and 7, so I don't see him. You know, I could see him going 8, honestly, or 7. So you're going to see a lot of bullpen arms in the first month. So we'll see. I saw somebody else's comment that I wanted to get to. Lane, do the Mets call up Reed or Drew Smith? I think Drew Smith's going to make the roster. Honestly, I think he's going to make the roster. Reed Foley, I think, is going to be in there as well. So, based on what I did, I only put 8 relievers in my projected bullpen because I'm looking long term for the rest of the year at the what I project at the moment. But yeah, I see Drew Smith coming up north for opening day, honestly. So, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be very interesting what the final roster is going to look like. John, going to Wrigley Field to watch the Mets for your birthday, July 14th to the 17th. Do you have any food spots I should go to? Because I never been there. Well, I haven't been there in like 5 years. I don't know what spots are still around. I can't remember any off the top of my head because it was a quick turnaround for me. I actually went to one game and left. So I'm not 100% sure. But if anybody has ideas in the chat, they can obviously tell you. Andre, no update on Watson yet. I mean, nobody signed him yet, so I don't know if it's Watson. Not sure if he wants to pitch this wants to retire or not, but we'll see. Yeah, Harley, exactly. You want those 15 pitchers, absolutely. Because again, short spring, most starters are not going to go probably 5 innings. Maybe if their pitch count is low, they'll go 6. But you're going to the first month, you're definitely going to need most of your bullpen throughout the whole first month for sure. So again, I wouldn't be surprised in the first series, besides Matt Scherzer, who might go 6 or 7 because he's insane. I could see DeGrom getting pulled after the 5th inning, depending on pitch count. Obviously it's all about the pitch count. It's not really about what inning. I mean, you could have 80 pitches in the 6th inning, and you should be okay. That's probably I think DeGrom has one more start before opening day, so he might get up to the 5th inning and maybe throw 70 pitches, maybe. And that's probably what he's going to be for the first start or two. So don't expect the DeGrom to go. Hopefully they don't have no perfect game situations that we have to like sweat it out. But it's Buck Showalter. I'm not worrying about that. You take his ass out of the game, I don't care, because we need to have these guys healthy for the season. I think honestly, when it comes to Diaz and his everyday situations back to back, I think he can do 3. He done it in 2019 a couple of times. I think he can do it 3 days in a row. But again, when you have Trevor May, when you have Seth Lugo, I'm not too a healthy Seth Lugo and Trevor May. I don't mind just doing Diaz back to back, just to don't overuse him to the point where it could blow up in our faces if he goes the 3rd day in a row. We have multiple guys, Lugo and May, that can easily close out a game to give Diaz a break, one of those games. But I think he can go 3 days in a row for sure. So that is your rotation for my projection, my projected rotation going into the season. Jacob DeGrom, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Carlos Carrasco, and Taijuan Walker. So that is the first one, guys. Next will be the bullpen. Let me just pull it up. Where the hell did I put it? Okay. Cool. All right, guys. So here's the next one. Next one's going to be the bullpen, but I'm going to look at a couple more questions. Yeah, Victor, it really depends. I want to see his last start in spring training, how many pitches he might go. Uh, I think he'll probably throw 70 to 75 pitches in his last spring start. So that's what I can see him throwing. Maybe 80 pitches in opening day, not much more than that. It depends on if he mows people down. If he has a quick 1 or 2 innings where he only throws 10 to 15 pitches in the first 2 innings, well, guess what? He might go longer. But I think 75, 80 pitches is probably max on opening day. So now we're going to look at the bullpen, my projected bullpen. And it's going to look like this. So when it comes to the Mets bullpen, this is who I have going up north with the Mets in their bullpen. And if you see the guys on the bottom, you might be a little shocked by that. But the reason why I did that, and there is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers, because that's what I wanted to start with. Obviously, there probably be 2 more, based on the rule that you can have up more than 13 pitches in April. I have it as this: Edwin Diaz is our closer. Then you got Trevor May, Seth Lugo, Miguel Castro, Adam Ottavino, Chase Shreve, who will be our only lefty in the bullpen unless Claudio comes up in April, which I do expect at this point now. Drew Smith and Sean Reed-Foley. Now, on paper, it looks like a pretty good bullpen, right? Our bullpen was somewhat of an issue last year. Well, mostly an issue last year. Castro was pretty good, but he was wild a lot. Trevor May gave up a lot of home runs last year. Lugo wasn't healthy. And Sean Reed-Foley also got hurt as well. Drew Smith also got hurt as well. Adam Ottavino was okay last year. So, again, on paper, Edwin Diaz had a really good year last year. As much as people want to bash him, and yes, I was one of them bashing him throughout the since we got him, I kept on bashing him. Edwin Diaz is a guy that, I think his ERA was under 3 last year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Let me check. I mean, okay, well, I lied. He had a 3.45 ERA last year and a 1 WAR. And he had 32 saves last year. So that's the most he had in a Mets uniform, and the most innings he pitched as a Met so far, 62 and 2/3. So he had a 3.45 ERA, 32 saves, and 62 and 2/3 innings. So it's a pretty good year, and he had a ton of strikeouts, obviously. He had 89 strikeouts, which is, he had more in 2019, but he did find the plate a lot more last year. And 2019 was a disaster for him. He had a 5.59 ERA in 2019, so a nice little jump. I expect him to be a little bit more comfortable with Diaz going into his 3rd year as a New York Met, or 4th year as a New York Met, excuse me. So 4th year as a New York Met, hopefully he's a little more comfortable. And I think now with this team, that it seems like the pressure's on the rotation at this point, and not so much the bullpen. I think Edwin Diaz is going to have a very good year. I could see him easily getting close to 40 saves this year. So that is your projected bullpen for the New York Mets. Let me know if you would change it a little bit, guys. Edwin Diaz, Trevor May, Seth Lugo, Miguel Castro, Adam Ottavino, Chase Shreve, Drew Smith, and Sean Reed-Foley to round up your bullpen. Obviously, there'll probably be 2 more bullpen arms in April based on the 15. You can put more than 13 in April to make it a 28-man roster. Obviously, you can use that other way. You can add some position players, which I don't think most teams will do anymore with the DH. So you're probably going to see 2 more guys. You might see Claudio. Maybe you'll have either McGill or Peterson come up as well, or maybe somebody else that you might not expecting who had a good year, good spring training, that might shock you a little bit, that might actually make the bullpen for at least the first month of April. So let me just answer your questions. I'll leave up the projected bullpen for a little bit. Yeah, Grant, that was the one thing I saw, that Reed-Foley is out of options. So he's going to come up with the club. And again, that's not a bad thing because he pitched really well last year until he got hurt. So I like him a lot. And on top of that, he's also a guy that can be a long man as well. He did that a couple of times last year. You can also put him in spots, starting the inning, but a lot of the times, most of the time, he actually, pitched 3 or 4 innings for the Mets a couple of times last year. So I think he's kind of an X factor in this bullpen because he has no more options. He will get DFA'd if the Mets try to send him down again. So, but that's a good call by you, Grant. I did read that when I was looking up the possible projected roster for the Mets. Uh, no, Harley, I'm not concerned when it comes to Pete Alonso because I mean last year was the same problem, and he worried me a lot. I think like the last like 2 or 3 games of spring training, that's when he hit his home runs. So I'm not really worried about that. Alonso seems like he's a slow starter and picks it up. So I'm not too worried about that. He has enough under his belt over the last 3 years to tell me that he's going to be fine home run wise. So I'm not too worried about that. John, one more question about Wrigley. Is it a nice stadium? I heard you say you left early, but you probably remember what it looks like. Oh yeah. Well, I didn't leave the game early. I just went to one game, and then I left afterwards. But yeah, it's a beautiful stadium. Again, you gotta understand that it's an old stadium. It's one of the oldest ballparks in Major League Baseball, and you have to understand that it's old. But it's a beautiful ballpark. Wrigleyville all around it is beautiful. All the restaurants, the shops, and all that stuff is pretty cool around Wrigley Field. I'm not a I to me it's like a one time thing because if you want to enjoy a game, Wrigley Field is cool probably once or twice. Other than that, probably not. Uh, I went to in the NLCS in 2015. I did go to Wrigley Field. That was fun, but it was freezing. So you're going in July, so you should be good. And they have a lot of day games, which is always nice. But yeah, for sure, make sure you don't go on a cold day, even though you're going in July, because that's the worst. You do a City Field is cold. Go to Wrigley Field when it's like 30 degrees. Not fun at all. Let's see what else. Leaf, yeah, I think they have the best pitching staff in baseball. I mean, if you consider it as a whole, again, this bullpen can be very good or it can be very bad. It really depends on bounce back years. You need May to not give up a lot of home runs. You need Seth Lugo to bounce back from his injury. Hopefully, Miguel Castro is not as wild as he was when the Mets got him. And Chasen Shreve, I think, is going to be fine. He's going to be a lefty specialist. Drew Smith and Shory Foley, they showed they can pitch as long as they can stay healthy. So this can be a very, very good pitching staff. The rotation is excellent. What you don't want, especially in the first month when you don't expect your starters to go far in the game in April, you don't want your starters to come out with leads and your bullpen starts to give it up because that will piss a lot of people off, including myself. So let's hope that does not happen. Timothy, yes. Look, I don't understand the right field thing with Starlin Marte. I just don't get it. I understand the Mets concept that he has the best arm out of all the outfielders to throw him in right field, which is usually what happens. But they signed Marte to be the center fielder. There's no doubt about that. They signed Marte to be a center fielder. Now, I know their understanding is best arm right field. I get it, but based on analytics, if they put Nimmo in the right spot in the outfield for every batter, he should be okay. He's a guy that the new analytics show that he wants to play. He has to play more deep, so he doesn't have to have a hard time going back on balls, which is his biggest problem in years past. So now he plays deeper. So a lot of jam shots or softly hit balls in center field are probably going to drop. So again, he played better last year in center field. I'm not worried about it yet, but if Nimmo starts to have problems in center field, I want the Mets to change that quickly. But yes, Marte will lead off. I think that's a great thing to put Marte as your leadoff guy. He's your stolen base threat, and Nimmo is your perfect number 2 hitter. And I also would put McNeil somewhere in the lineup that I'll show you in a little bit as well, that we'll get to next. What else? I see we got a couple more things about the bullpen, and then we'll move on. Drew Smith has not yet appeared in a spring game. They are bringing him back slowly from. Yeah, exact. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I put Drew Smith in because again, I didn't look at. I knew he was having. He was slowly coming back, but I just put him there because I expect him to be in the bullpen when he's ready. That's just me. So yeah, Drew Smith probably won't come up north right away. Again, that's an opportunity for somebody else. Maybe the Mets will put Claudio in there as the second lefty, especially we're playing the Nationals and the Phillies around the 11 times in the first month. So you're going to see a lot of Schwarber, a lot of Harper, a lot of Soto. So you might as well have two lefties in your pen at least for the first month. Oh, Grant, that's cool. Yeah, again, I haven't been there in a while. So, I was in there 2015, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe I was there 2017 or 2018. I can't remember. There's so many stadiums I go to. It's hard to keep track of when did I go to which one. But yeah, Wrigley is beautiful. Again, you have to, when you go to a stadium like Citi Field or a newer ballpark like Texas or Atlanta, the amenities are so different, and the illusion of the new stadium is just different. The sight lines are just different at Wrigley Field. The same thing at in Fenway. Same thing. The sight lines are so different. You used to a triple decker. We don't have that in Fenway or Wrigley Field. So it's a little different, but it's an amazing experience to do it at least once. Yeah, but you know what? He was pretty good for them. He was one of our better relievers besides Diaz in 2020. Again, I don't take 2020 stats very seriously because that does not make sense to me to look at 2020 so much because there's only 60 games and a stop and start spring training with a shortened spring training. So that messed up a lot of pitchers, and a lot of these pitchers didn't even have time to actually get in full gear until like the 30th game of the year. So I'm not too concerned about that. Again, I am a little concerned about that because how confident can you be with Jason Shreve on the mound against Soto, Harper, Schwarber, Olson, all those guys in the NL East alone? So that's what I worry about. But you know what? I'm trusting the Mets organization. I'm trusting the front office. I'm trusting Buck Showalter and Epler. I don't agree with it 100% when it comes to getting basically a veteran, I guess, towing the line veteran who, if it wasn't for him being a left-hander, he would not be in the league. So I don't agree with it. I think he should have went after Chafin or went after another bigger lefty that the Mets I thought were going to get. I thought they should have brought back Luke, but again, that's over with. That's who we have. We'll see how it goes. Let's hope that it works out because the Mets don't have a lot of options after that. So that's what I worry about for sure. Evil, I would not want Conforto over Nimmo. I want Conforto back. Personally, I do. I still think he's. I know. I'm pretty sure wherever he goes, he's going to hit. He's going to be fine. And I'd rather have Conforto back. Even if you gotta throw him in as a platoon guy to give guys days off, I would do that. But Conforto over Nimmo, yes. Looking at the stats, Conforto has better stats overall than Nimmo, but Nimmo is a big piece to this lineup. If you take Nimmo out of this lineup, it's kind of bare, honestly, especially at your 1-2 position in the lineup. Yeah, I don't think the Josh Hader trade to anybody is happening. I think what the Brewers are doing, they're going for it in the NL Central. If they're a team that they don't think they're going to make a run for the playoffs or be a fringe wildcard team, I could see them putting Hader on the trade block during the deadline because they will get a lot more competition for him to get him. and they'll get a lot more back for him, probably more than if they would put him on the block during the offseason. And the Mets, I want the Mets to sign Tony Watson. I think it makes a lot of sense, but we don't know. I don't know if Tony Watson is still considering retirement or not. But if he wants to pitch, the Mets should get him. I think that makes sense. Get another veteran lefty in here. Lane, the 93 roster, probably terrible because I think that was around the Generation K, right? Or was that like 95, 96? I think that was when the Generation K was like so big, Isringhausen and all those guys. But yeah, it probably wasn't that good. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a place that's a ballpark I want to go to. I definitely want to, I want to hit up Minute Maid. The one time I was supposed to go, you had the hurricane. Obviously, I couldn't go. Uh, but I definitely want to go to the new Global Life Park in Dallas for the Rangers. I definitely want to see that part. I might do a whole a little thing, like during like probably September. I probably try to go to a Astros game, a Rangers game, and a Cowboy game. That'd be nice. Yeah, the Blue Jays, they're piling up, man. They got a stacked lineup. They got a lot of depth in their minors as well. Their rotation is really, really good. I mean, the Blue Jays are going to be scary. Yeah, MB. I'm more on the boat where I think the Mets should have got another big bat. I'm happy what they did this offseason. Excuse me. I think the one big bat would have put them over the top lineup wise. If that was any bat on the open market that the Mets needed. Again, I was a big advocate for Chris Bryant. Some people weren't, but I thought the Mets needed one more big bat. I'm worried about the lack of power in this lineup. There's going to be a lot of times with people on base where, yes, these guys will probably, get base hits, which are fine. But, when you need that 3-run home run to tie the game or take the lead, basically the guy that you probably have confidence in hitting a 3-run bomb in this lineup is probably only Alonso. Yes, Escobar. Yes, Alonso. Lindor can do it. Yes, probably. I mean, really think about it. We got a lot of 15 to 20 home run guys, right? We got Nimmo, who's a 15 to 20 guy. Marte is a 15 to 20 guy. Escobar probably could be a little bit over 20. Connor's a 15 to 20 guy, depending on who's your DH. If Dominic Smith's your everyday DH, yes, he can probably hit over 20. But a lot of these, I mean, the only guy you expect to hit over 30 home runs is probably Alonso in this lineup. And that worries me. So, if you look at other teams in the NL East, and I'm going to be doing an NL East projections rankings in the coming days, and you'll see a lot of the lineups in this NL East, they have about at least three, and the team we're talking about, the Braves and the Phillies, have at least 30 home run guys. And that's a big deal because that drives in runs as well. And, I did projections based on average home runs and RBIs. Again, that's not the end all be all, but that's how I rank the NL East. I rank the lineups, I rank the rotations, and I'm going to be ranking the NL East as a whole just on records. So you're going to have 3 different videos, guys. Lineup rankings for the NL East, rotation rankings for the NL East, and then record rankings for the NL East. So expect those next 3 videos to come out right before opening day in the next 7 days or so. So check out that when they happen. So that is your bullpen once again, guys. I'm going to go straight through to the next one, which is the lineup, and then we'll go on to the record and we can discuss that. So once again, your bullpen that I project: Diaz, May, Lugo, Castro, Ottavino, Shreve, Smith, and Reed Foley. So that is your bullpen for the New York Mets, projected by me, not nobody else, just by me. So next is going to be the New York Mets lineup. All right. So here we go, guys. Let me just pull it up. All right, guys. So this is what I project the lineup's going to be. Let me just make sure there's no more other comments about it. All right, so we see Timothy, will 2022 be our year? Again, I don't consider the Mets the favorite to win the World Series. I don't. I think that's just you would just have Mets blinders on, Mets sunglasses on if you think that. It's probably not accurate to say that. But again, it's not lately it hasn't been the best team to win the World Series. So yes, the Mets have an opportunity, obviously. They're one of 12 teams that can win the World Series once the playoff starts. So there's an extra two teams in each division. I'm sorry, one team more in the each league that goes to the playoffs, so the Mets have an opportunity to make the playoffs. It's usually the hottest team that wins the World Series. So if the Mets are hot going into the playoffs, they have a pretty good chance. But I do think they have with their rotation, they have the opportunity to win a World Series because of that rotation. Yeah, I saw that 29 runs against the Nationals. I mean, geez, that should have been a mercy rule. All right, guys. So here we go. I'm going to do the projected lineup for our New York Mets. This one's going to be interesting. It's probably going to have a lot to say to everybody. Everybody's going to have a lot to say about this, but here we go, guys. All right, guys. So here we go. My projected lineup for the 2022 season going north on opening day. Starlin Marte leading off in right field. Brandon Nimmo in center field. Francisco Lindor batting third, playing short. Pete Alonso cleaning up, playing first base. Eduardo Escobar batting fifth at third base. Dominic Smith, that's right. Dominic Smith as your DH batting sixth. Mark Canha, left field, batting seventh. James McCann, catching, batting eighth. And Jeff McNeil as your second leadoff hitter, batting ninth, playing third base. That's wrong. Second base, I'm sorry. Playing second base. So that is the lineup that I projected going forward. I do not, I feel confident that Buck Showalter is going to give Cano the nod on opening day as the DH. I don't agree with it, but this is my projected lineup. I want Dominic Smith as the DH on opening day. When there's a lefty on the mound, I want JD Davis as a DH. That's how I want it. And every now and then you could trickle Cano in if you want. Starlin Marte leading off, Brandon Nimmo second, Francisco Lindor third, Pete Alonso fourth, Eduardo Escobar fifth, Dominic Smith sixth as your DH, Mark Canha seven, James McCann eight, and Jeff McNeil rounding up the lineup at nine. So that's what I like to see for a lineup. I think with Dominic Smith in the lineup, it lengthens the lineup drastically. Cano in the middle of this lineup, if you put him in the same spot where Dominic Smith is, Dominic Smith sixth in the lineup, it just hurts the rest of the lineup. I don't trust it. I don't like it. So that's what I think the lineup should look like. I do not. I don't. I expect Cano opening day to be the DH. I think Showalter shows him enough respect to give him a shot. I don't agree with it, but I expect that. But if it was me, Cano would have his steroid ass on the bench, sitting down and get his spot start here and there as a DH or at second base. Other than that, sit his ass on the bench. I know with all that money, they're probably going to start him. I get it, at least for opening day. But this is my projected lineup. Once again, guys, Starlin Marte in right field, batting first. Brandon Nimmo in center field, batting second. Francisco Lindor, batting third at shortstop. Pete Alonso cleaning up, playing first base. Eduardo Escobar, third base, batting fifth. Dominic Smith, DH, batting sixth. Mark Canha, left field, batting seven. James McCann, catching, batting eighth. And Jeff McNeil, batting ninth, playing second base as your second leadoff hitter. I think that works perfectly because Jeff McNeil could be a one and two in this lineup. But with Marte and Nimmo, I rather bat him ninth. He's a perfect second leadoff hitter. Works out perfectly. But that's the lineup. I see somebody, and B agrees. I said Lewis said he has the exact same lineup. I changed the lineup a couple of times before I actually finally had it finalized. This is what I wanted. I'm like, you know what? I like this lineup. It lengthens the lineup. Now you have a couple of power bats in a row with Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Eduardo Escobar, and Dominic Smith. Those are your power numbers right there, guys. Those are the guys that can all hit over 20 home runs for you. Well, I expect Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso to hit over 20 home runs and most likely Escobar. And I do expect Dominic Smith, if he gets enough playing time, to hit over 20 home runs. So from third to fifth in the lineup, that's your power numbers right there, guys. That's your power number. That's when, if everybody is on, you can see them hitting over 20 to 25 home runs. So that's what I expect right there. 25 plus home runs for all four of those guys. That's the power lineup that I want to see. I think that's the best lineup. And even if you want to throw JD Davis in the DH spot instead of Dominic Smith in certain games, JD Davis, I'm telling you guys, people are not talking about JD Davis. JD Davis is going to be one of the X factors on this team. I think JD Davis should be the everyday DH, but I do expect Dominic Smith to be the guy. The only problem with putting Dominic Smith as the everyday DH is that when you want to change a defensive position in late in games and take Pete Alonso out when you have a lead, and you want to put Dominic Smith at first base, you can't do that if he's the DH. You know, the Ohtani rule only applies to Ohtani, where he can come out as the pitcher and still remain as the DH. So I think the lineup should be with JD Davis as the everyday DH, but I understand putting Dominic Smith in to get that bat. But again, that's why I think Robinson Cano is probably going to open up as the everyday DH. But I don't agree with it. I think it should be JD Davis. Dominic Smith should be getting on the bench just for a late defensive situation at first base, holding the lead, or if you have a good matchup and you want Dominic Smith as a pinch hitter, you're good to go. So that is my projected lineup, guys. I see Timothy has Marte, Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, Smith, Cano, Escobar, McCann, McNeil. Yeah, see, again, that McNeil, that Cano just worries me in the middle of that lineup. I just don't like it. RIP Rod. Opening day is April 7th in Washington. Yeah, John, Pete Alonso's going to – I think Lindor likes to bat third, and I think Pete Alonso likes to bat cleanup. Look, I like more traditional lineups. I don't like this whole, like some teams will put their best power hitter leading off, which is – I know they say, you get extra at bat. Fine. I don't like that. This is more traditional. This is very much traditional. You got a perfect leadoff hitter. You got a perfect setup guy batting second who is a table setter. You got Francisco Lindor, who's supposed to be one of your better hitters in the lineup, is your third guy. Pete Alonso is always your power guy, who bats cleanup. Your fifth can be a mix between one of your better hitters and a guy that could hit for power as well with Escobar. And then 6, 2, 9, usually, in years past in the National League, your eighth hitter was usually your worst hitter. Your sixth and seventh are kind of your fringe guys who could be a power guy, but not low and who is a low average, stuff like that. So I like a more traditional lineup like this, and I think it works out perfectly for the New York Mets. Yeah, John, I understand you don't like JD Davis as your everyday DH, but Dominic Smith hurts this Mets team a little bit if you put him in as the everyday DH, and I explained it earlier. You don't have a lot of first base options. If, God forbid, Pete Alonso goes out with injury or, gets hit by a pitch has to come out of the game, or if you want better defense at first base, even though Alonso has been very good as lately and has been working on his game defensively, there is no doubt that Dominic Smith is better. So now you put both of your first basemen in. Yes, Kana can possibly go to first base. That's not a terrible idea, but you know what? That can cost you a game as well. He's not an everyday first baseman. That's why I think JD Davis is going to get a couple more starts at DH rather than Dominic Smith just because of that. But a lot of people are not talking about JD Davis. JD Davis in 2019 had 20 plus home runs. He was one of our better hitters in 2019. Last year, he got hit the first series of the year in Philadelphia, hurt his wrist, and the rest of the year had problems with that wrist. If he's healthy, he's going to hit 22 to 25 home runs easily if he gets enough starts. Yeah, John, well, I agree. But the problem is with Dominic Smith, I think he should be an everyday player, but you're not playing him over Connor. You're not playing him over Alonso. So there's nowhere else to put him except for DH. But that hurts you on the bench when you might need a person who actually plays first base, God forbid, of an injury with Alonso or a late inning defensive uh, change if you want to hold up a lead. Granted, you could just leave uh, Alonso out there, but you seen it last year as well. Dominic Smith came in late in games to come in defensively for Pete Alonso. Don't worry, Joe. It's no problem. So once again, guys, that is your lineup. One more time, guys, before we go to the overall record for our New York Mets, the big reveal for me. So projected lineup: Starlin Marte leading off, Brandon Nimmo second, Francisco Law third, Pete Alonso fourth, Eduardo Escobar fifth, Dominic Smith sixth, Mark Connor seventh, James McCann eighth, and Jeff McNeil rounding out the lineup batting ninth. So that is your lineup projected by me, nobody else. A couple of people agreed. That's cool, John. It's all good. Oh God, Jerry Manuel, Odd Hal. Let's not talk about them. Oh. So that is your lineup, guys. So we're gonna go right to the record in a second. I'm just gonna go a little over if I missed any of the comments. But I do really like that lineup. Again, I feel like Cano is gonna get some respect from Buck Showalter and put him in on opening day, maybe the first two series, unless he looks two games of the year. I could see him starting on opening day as a DH. If he's terrible, you'll see either Dominic Smith or JD Davis as the DH. So I really like that lineup, guys. I do think the Mets have a more impactful, solid lineup with possible power with that lineup. With Lindor, Alonso, Dominic Smith, and Escobar in that order. I think they could be potentially big time power bats if everything works out. But the lack of power in this lineup makes me believe that this team needs to generate a lot of runs in different type of situations. We've seen it in spring training already where they're driving runs in, not on home runs. They're driving, besides Lindor, who's been hitting the ball all over the yard and hitting a lot of home runs. I think he has 5 home runs on the spring. Other than that, there's been a lot of, doubles, driving in runs. You saw the other day when Marte, it was a blue pit. I forgot who hit the ball to center field, and he read the ball well off the bat and scored from second. And if he would have hesitated a little bit, he would have been thrown out at the plate. So it's just that type of base running. We have to be better on the base paths. Have to generate runs based on situational hit-ins, sack flies, getting runners in from scoring position, which is a big problem as of last year. Definitely, this lineup has the potential to be a very solid lineup. I don't think they're going to score a ton of runs, but I think with this rotation, you probably need around 3 runs a game. 3.5 runs a game. 3 or 4 runs a game should do it, especially with this rotation. I see a lot of people talking about old managers. Manuel was the worst. Willie Randolph was it was one of our best teams in a long time. Willie Randolph was very good. He got a raw deal. And then, when Manuel, took over after Randolph, Yeah, it wasn't good. Yes, I do play the show. I already have it pre-ordered, so it's gonna pop on. I got the digital PS5, so it's just gonna pop on my little technological video game set. But yes, I will be doing it, and that's another thing I'll probably do with the channel. I'll probably do simulated games and then post it on my channel, maybe with a little commentary, and I'll probably do that as well. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, Carlos Beltran. He was so good. He lasted like a week. Yeah, Lane. Tyler McGill and David Peterson are going to be in the minors as depth pieces, probably for a little while. Joe, you're right. Yeah, so David Peterson and McGill are going to be in the minor leagues for a little bit. Again, if Taijuan Walker or Carlos Carrasco don't pitch well, you could see one of those guys coming up. But again, in May 3rd to be exact, and you don't know about the weather in April. We might have rainouts, which causes double headers, which these guys might have to come up and pitch a game. Also, May 3rd, we have our first doubleheader against the Braves. That's a makeup for the first week of the season that was pushed back. So May 3rd at Citi Field on a Tuesday, which I will be attending, it's a doubleheader against the Braves. So you'll probably see one of those guys come up, pitch to one of the games on the doubleheader. Unless it sets up well where, well, it probably won't because it'll be the same day, depending on off days or whatever. I'm not sure exactly if there's an off day. You might have DeGrom Scherzer, but that's probably unlikely on the same day. So you'll probably see one of those guys come up to pitch doubleheader. Rod, no, I don't. Chasing Shreve at the moment is probably going to be your only lefty, unless, as me and Christian talked about earlier, about the expanded roster in April, you can bring up two more pitchers. Maybe. See, I think they would want Peterson and McGill to stretch out in the minors. That's why you won't put them in the bullpen as a long man as of yet. So that's the way I see it. But Jason Shreve at the moment, maybe Alex Claudio will be up in April just to give you that extra lefty in April. But yeah, I don't think Peterson or McGill are going to be up unless it's a double header situation. Oh, okay, you're only 13, so yeah, Mickey Callaway. Hey, Brett, how you doing, buddy? Let's go Mets. Absolutely. 1 week away, everybody. 1 week away. Let's go. So in a few minutes, guys, I'm gonna reveal my record for the New York Mets and what place I believe they will be in the NL East. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Got about a half hour left. Right after I do the record, I'll do a quick pregame into the spring training game today. Actually, yeah, they start at 6. So yeah, I'm gonna do a quick preview of the game, the lineup, who's pitching, and all that stuff, and talk a little bit about it, and then go from there. But there is no doubt about it, guys. The big eye openers. Some might not be shocking. Some are. I'm very excited how good Connor looked in spring training. He's going to be an interesting piece. He's another X factor in this lineup. Lindor has been one of the best hitters in spring this year with 5 home runs. He's looked really good. Obviously, Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer, and Jacob deGrom all look really, really solid, pitching their first 2 games of spring so far. And I believe each one of them still gets one more start, so that's good to see as well. So, guys, I just saw a comment. Hold on. Predictions for the spring training game. I will do that in a little bit, John. Don't worry. Yeah, exactly. Jerry Manuel will definitely look. He will run circles around Mickey Callaway. I'll never forget in 2019. Oh my God, it pissed me off with Mickey Callaway. He was always taking out guys or bringing in bullpen arms when he shouldn't have. So many times I was at the game. Shout out to 515. That's my section. Every time, me and all my friends that were in 515, we were like screaming at Cali, "What are you doing?" Every time he took out a pitcher when he shouldn't have, and bringing in guys that shouldn't be in the game at that. Oh my god, it was just terrible. Him in the bullpen was like his kryptonite. Like he just couldn't get it right ever. He just made so many bad moves among other things. But oh my god, Jesus, I can't stand that guy. John 162. No, I would not go that far. Uh, yeah, Joe, 515 is the nosebleeds, but at City Field, is it really nosebleeds? Shea Stadium is nosebleeds, upper deck. No doubt about that. 515 is kind of more like the mezzanine in Shea. So, but yeah, 515 for sure is my favorite spot. It's a little bit of an angle. It's not directly behind home plate, but it's a little bit left. Yeah, left of home plate. So it's basically you see the entire. It's a perfect view. I love that. Yeah, but I do like those. No, I mean, I don't know where that came from. I guess what altitude he knows can bleed, so I guess that's where they got it from. I think that's what I don't know. I never really looked at that, but that is kind of interesting. See, Joe, now you're gonna make me go research it later after the stream and check it out. Lane, I don't honestly care about the score. Honestly, I don't. I just want everybody to. Uh, I think Carrasco's pitching today, if I'm not mistaken. Whoever's playing, just come out healthy. That's it. That's all I care about. So, yeah, I don't worry about that as of yet, guys. With score, but it's always nice to see a team win, even in spring training. But I want everybody to come out healthy. That's all I care about. We haven't had no major injuries or sidelines with our major guys, so I'm not too worried about that. Get through the rest of spring healthy, and I'll be happy. Go up north, 100% healthy with your roster. I'll be happy. Okay, Joe, cool. Well, you know what, Motherful? Diaz had a very good year last year. 32, 34, 32 saves last year. He had a 3.45 ERA, not great. Again, he had his blow-ups every now and then, but slowly but surely he's been better and better. And I expect him to be close to 40 saves this year. I think he's going to have close to a 3 ERA this year. I think he's going to be good. Thursday night, I don't know. Yeah, exactly, MB. That's the big concern with Carrasco. First inning. That's his big problem. If he gets out of the first inning, he usually pitches well in the later games, in the later innings. So that's what I want to see. They should call the first row in the outfield nosebleed because you might get hit by a ball. That's true. In City Field, if you're in like between first and third, first and home and third and home, in the upper deck in the first couple of rows, you get a lot of foul balls coming your way by fouling it back. The lefty will hit it towards the left side. The righty will hit it towards the right side, fouling it off. That's pretty cool. Yes, Ottavino looks good. Again, I'm very skeptical of Ottavino because he's a right-handed specialist. That's all he is. He can't pitch to lefties. He's just not good. It just right into their wheelhouse where his ball goes. Yeah, yes, Seltzer. Seltzer's my go-to. It's the next best thing besides soda, and I'm trying to stay away from it. So, I don't like the raspberry. I'm a lemon lime guy, guys. Lemon lime. I'll go after like the black cherry every now and then. Yeah, I'll be okay with that. So, guys, here we go. We got a half hour left until the stream is ending, guys. So, we went through the bullpen. We went through the rotation. We went through the lineup. There's one thing left. That everything that's put together with lineup, rotation, bullpen, everything put together means there's one thing left. The record of the New York Mets. My prediction for the New York Mets in 2022. I'm going to give you their record, and I'm going to give you their place in the NL East. So here we go, guys. So let me just put that up there. All right. Set it up. Drum roll, please. All right. So that was my terrible drum roll. All right, guys. So it's coming up right now. There we go, guys. So the New York Mets. My prediction for the 2022 season: 92 and 70, second place in the NL East. Yes, I believe the Braves are still the cream of the crop of the NL East. I want to give all the respect to the Braves for being the champions last year. And not only that, I believe they got better offensively by bringing in Matt Olson and letting Freeman go. Leadership might be an issue and it might hurt the team, but pure talent on paper, the New York Mets, the Atlanta Braves are still the team to beat in the NL East. I think the Braves projections is around 94, 95 wins. I'm still doing my research on all the teams just to give a better understanding of total lineup, rotation, bullpen, and all that. You'll see it in my coming videos over the next week of what I think of the lineups, rotation, and overall records for the teams. 92 and 70, I think that's spot on. Again, if everything possibly goes right, and I do factor into my records, guys. I do factor into my records, not just with the Mets, but with any team that I do my projections on. I look into everything. I don't before I look at when I do my prediction, the first thing I think of, all right, if there's an injury here, if this guy doesn't work out, I look at things like that. If we don't score a lot of runs, so what I do, I generate all my averages. Trust me, I do a lot of stupid math that nobody cares about. I try to do my research and I go, all right, if everything goes right, everybody stays healthy, the rotation is healthy, the lineup is awesome, I could see the Mets being a 94 win team. But to be on the modest side and being realistic, I can see the Mets having a 92 and 70 record, second best in the NL East. That means the Mets will be a wild card team, which is a little scary, but at least we get a 3-game wild card series and not just on 1 game. So I think, John, I don't know about 81 and 81. That's a little crazy. But 92 and 70, I think, is right on point where this team is. And that's based on if the lineup is pretty good, if the rotation, maybe these guys will miss a start or two during the year, a couple of starts during the year. So I take that into consideration. I projected when I did the numbers for the Mets bullpen to be in the top 50, the top 10 in the league. The lineup, I don't project to be a very big run scoring team, so I took that into consideration. Obviously, the rotation is the best in baseball, so I took into consideration that Carlos Carrasco is probably not going to be that good. Walker, I think, is going to be okay. Scherzer and DeGrom, I think, are going to be excellent, but I also put their health into consideration. That's what I put into. So I looked at health, I looked at averages, ERAs, I looked at lineup projections, rotation projections, everything in that consideration. I even went through the month by month teams we play, and June and July are kind of scary. It's a very tough schedule, so that's something that I do think that have to take into consideration as well when you look at the overall record as well, because it's going to be a pretty good NL East. Again, I still don't trust the Phillies about being that good. They got a great lineup, but I think our rotation can handle the lineup. The Phillies' defense and their pitching staff is not that good. The only team that I worry about the most is the Atlanta Braves. The Marlins always find a way to kill the Mets. So I do think the Mets are actually a team that can be like, if the Mets win 95 games, I won't be shocked. Put it that way. I would be shocked if we win less than 90 games. So either way, I would not be shocked if the Mets win 95 games. I would be shocked if the Mets lose under 90 games. Win less than 90 games. And Plaxi, I'm not covering the game. I'm just doing a quick pregame with the season preview. No live during the game today. Sorry. Yeah, Plaxi, see, I can't just look at the pitching though. That's the problem. And I think not all, but some fans in general, not just Met fans, look at their rotation and be like, oh, great. This rotation can win us 97 games. Yeah, but you also have to take into consideration that the bullpen could kill a lot of the games that your rotation is winning. Honestly, no, I'm telling you, watch in April, guys. April is going to be key to the success of the first half of the New York Mets. The reason why I say that is because of this. The New York Mets rotation is the best in baseball, no doubt about it. Healthy, 100%. Nobody can question that. This, besides Max Scherzer, you're not going to see DeGrom. You're not going to see Chris Bassett. You're not going to see Carlos Carrasco or Taijuan Walker probably go past the fifth inning in their first 1 or 2 starts. Maybe 6 with DeGrom and Bassett. Maybe. That gives 3 or 4 innings to your bullpen. Now, if you're going to go on the bullpen of the Mets over the last year, they were okay. Trevor May gave up a lot of home runs. Castro was wild, even though he was okay. You don't got a lot of guys that you can. Adam Ottavino is a right-handed specialist. I don't trust him as of yet. You know, you can have look. The Brewers have one of the best rotations in baseball last year. Where did they go? They won their division, great, and they got knocked out in the playoffs. So it's not all based around. And I saw Christian's comment as well. Just because your rotation can be the best in baseball doesn't mean anything. If you don't score runs, you're probably going to lose. And, you know, the lineup, some people might like the lineup. The lineup is solid, but this team needs to score runs. This team's problem wasn't pitching last year. Their problem was scoring runs. Every day in September and August and September, they were leaving 13, 14, 15, 16 guys on base every game and losing 3-1, 3-2, 4-2. You know, you score 2 or 3 of those runs, you win 8 or 9 out of your 15 games that you left all those men on base. That's the biggest thing. And I'm not worried about the rotation. I am a little worried about the bullpen. But the first thing I'm going to look at in the first 2 series of the year, can this team manufacture runs? And yes, that is sack flies. Yes, that is moving a runner over. If a guy is on third with less than 2 outs, rolling over a ball, hitting it to the right side so that guy scores. Those are manufacturing runs. The Mets were terrible in that stat last year. They couldn't get a sack fly with less than 2 outs. They couldn't move runners over. And when they did, they could not get the runners in. If the New York Mets figure out or be better than last year when it comes to manufacturing runs, this team can be unstoppable. But it's a big, big if. If this rotation is pitching as good as good as we all expect, the lineup needs to score runs. This team will be unstoppable if this offense generates runs and manufacture runs. Because if they don't, we're going to have the same problem as we did over the last couple of years. All you have to take a look at is DeGrom stats over the last 4 years, when the Mets couldn't score anything, when he was losing games 2-1, 1-0. That's what you're going to have with the New York Mets if this lineup doesn't generate and manufacture runs, which I think they're capable of. You're going to have a lot of those 1-run, 2-1 games like we always seen the Mets not being able to score with Jacob DeGrom. That's what I want to see the Mets do. If the Mets, the first 2 series of the year is going to be telling. And Plaxi, I agree. Marte and Escobar are big keys to this lineup. You know, last year, Marte and Escobar, if you take them out of the lineup and you throw in a J.D. Davis or Michael Conforto, guys who are extremely streaky. Marte and Escobar, solid professional ball players who put the bat on the ball. You got Marte, who could be a 300 hitter. Escobar is a solid guy. You saw him, what he can do. These guys manufacture runs on their teams. That's what I want to see them do with the Mets. If they do that, the New York Mets are going to be a dangerous team, not just in the NL East, but in all of baseball. So that is your prediction, my prediction for the Mets overall record, 92-70, second in the NL East. I do think the Braves are just beating out the Mets by 1 or 2 games. Again, those 1 or 2 games can flip very easily on both sides based on injuries and other situations that I can't come off the top of my head. But at the end of the day, 92 wins, I think is very reasonable for this Mets team. So there you go, guys. We just had a nice conversation about that. Some agree, some don't. That's okay. Again, if everything goes right, everybody's healthy, the lineup produces and manufacture runs, I can easily see 94 wins for the New York Mets. I can definitely see that. Yeah, Plaxi, exactly my big thing. The New York Mets needs to manufacture runs. That's just easily what we have to do. It wasn't pitching last year, even though we had no pitching besides Stroman last in the second half. Pitching wasn't our major problem. We just couldn't score runs. If that changes this year with this pitching staff, things will be different. No doubt about it. All right, guys. So that is the record that I project 92 and 70, second in the NLE. So for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about the spring training game and go from there. So I'm going to look at the lineup. Let me just pull it up on MLB.com so I can share it with you guys. Just give me a second. Once again, guys, please don't forget to hit on that like button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget hit on that subscribe button, guys, and keep on coming back over the next week to check out my videos. There's going to be 3 videos: lineup rankings for the NL East, rotation rankings, and record rankings, worst to first. So check those out in the coming week, guys. So let me just check the Mets lineup. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, there we go. All right, just give me a second, guys. I'm just pulling up MLB.com. Sorry if I'm a little streaky with the Wi-Fi just now. I'm just got multiple streams running right now, so just give me a second. Once again, guys, I'm going over the lineup for today and the pitching matchup for today's spring training game against the Astros. Just give me a second while it loads. Victor, yes, yes, I think we could be. I think we're better than the Yankees, but again, I don't care about the Yankees. 1, because they're not in our division. 2, they're not in our league. 3 is I only care about them unless we play them. That's all I care about. I don't care if the Yankees are 50-0 in the first 2 months. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me until we face them. That's all I care about. Yeah, Merlifel, I hope they prove us wrong. Elaine, I do think the Mets are going to the playoffs in 2022. Yes, I'm doing a pregame now, MB. All right, guys. So here we go. Let me just share it. Sorry. I forgot to share it. All right, guys. Here we go. There we go. So we have Carlos Carrasco on the mound against Jose Urquidy. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see the lineup a little better. There we go. All right. So there you go, guys. You got Carlos Carrasco against Jose Urquidy. And then the lineup for your New York Mets is Brandon Nimmo playing center but leading off. Starlin Marte right field batting second. Francisco Lindor batting third playing short. Pete Alonso cleaning up playing first base. Robinson Cano is your DH batting fifth. Eduardo Escobar playing second batting sixth. Mark Hanna playing left field batting seventh. JD Davis playing third base batting eighth. And James McCann catching batting ninth. So that is your lineup for the New York Mets. And you know what's also what I like about this? You got Alvarez, you got Bregman, you got Gurriel, you got Tucker, and Altuve. You got basically Houston's opening day lineup for the most part against Carrasco. So it's going to be very interesting to watch Carrasco today against this lineup. So that is your lineup, guys. Once again, Carlos Carrasco is on the mound for the Mets. So we're going to see how he does. Let's see how he gets out of the first inning. And looking at the Astros lineup, it's basically the lineup you're going to see during the season. So it's going to be a big test for Carlos Carrasco. Let's see what he can do. Oh, yeah. They are on SNY, guys. Yes, they are. 6 o'clock on SNY. And download the SNY app if you're not at home. If you're in New York, you can watch it on SNY app. So you can watch SNY. And I'm not sure if MLB Network is showing it. I doubt it. Let me see. No. they got the Seattle Mariners and the Chicago Cubs. So you can only watch it. You could probably go on SNY.TV or probably stream it on another site. Probably the Astros team website probably is going to stream the game. Exactly, Plexi. Exactly. Hey, so what's up, buddy? I'm doing good, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. You missed almost all the fun, kid, but it's okay. So that is your projected lineup for tonight, guys. Brandon Nimmo, Starlin Marte, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Robinson Cano, Eduardo Escobar, Mark Canha, J.D. Davis, and James McCann rounding up the lineup for the New York Mets. And looking at the Astros, you have Jose Siri, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Yuri Gurriel, Kyler Tucker, Jeremy Pena, and Martin Maldonado for the Astros. Which is basically the lineup you're going to see for the Astros on opening day and during the season. So a big test for Carlos Carrasco tonight. I think this is his second to last start before the season starts. So let's hope, guys, that Carrasco can get out of the first inning because that's his big problem. But, I'm very interested. You see Starlin Marte and Nimmo. I still like Starlin Marte batting leadoff. I've seen Buck Showalter do this a lot already. I hope he puts Brandon Nimmo batting second, but it seems like he's going to put Brandon Nimmo leading off. So, and it's crazy to think Starlin Marte is batting 500, but again, he only had like three starts, so it's not a lot. Francisco Lindor, 474, 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. Obviously, the big one, the big guy that's been one of the best hitters in spring training. Pete Alonso struggled, 200 average with no home runs, 1 RBI. Cano was batting 154. Escobar, 415. Solid. Mark Canha at his basically his career average around 235, so that's expected. J.D. Davis batting 214, and James McCann batting 400. Not so bad himself. Brett, you say 95 games? That's okay. Again, everything has to go right for the Mets to win 95 games. Everything. Health, lineup has to be a scoring runs and manufacturing runs. But I do think that I think solid team, 92 wins. I think that's fair. I'm not going to be overly up. I'm not going to be overly confident and put my Met sunglasses on and act like I don't see the rest of the division. We do play the Braves 19 times. We do play the Phillies 19 times. Yes, we play the Nationals 19 times. The Marlins are a pain in our ass. So that's the other big problem. But I feel like 92 is the sweet spot. 95 is, I would be extremely happy if 95 wins is a possibility. So once again, guys, 1 week until opening day, April 7th in Washington against the Nats. And today was the anniversary, 3/30/2000. Benny Agbayani hits a go-ahead grand slam in Japan when the Mets played in Japan on opening day in 2000. So that's cool. That was fun. I remember watching that at 6 o'clock in the morning? That was great. But once again, guys, that is your lineup for tonight. Again, Carlos Carrasco on the mound for our New York Mets. Get all your questions in and your thoughts now, guys. We got 10 minutes left until I end the stream today. Thank you guys for tuning in to the 2022 season preview for the New York Mets. If you missed a lot of the beginning of the stream when I talked about the lineup, my projected rotation, my projected bullpen, and my prediction for wins and losses this year, go back and replay it and check it out, guys. Once again, guys, 92 and 70 for the New York Mets, I think is the sweet spot for our Mets. I think that's good enough to make the wild card team. Because, again, just because you're in second place in your division does not mean anything. You got to have better records than the other teams in your division. So let's just hope 92 wins gets us in, which I think it should. I can see the Cardinals and the Brewers being over 90 wins. So that's another team that's going to be a wild card team. I could see 2 teams coming out of the West as a wild card team. So again, the Mets have to have a pretty good record to make the wild card. We couldn't miss the playoffs if the Brewers and the Cardinals have over 92 wins. And I expect 3 teams in the West have close to over 90 wins. So Yeah, Christian, good call. I didn't talk about my bench. I was kind of iffy on that, but I could see J.D. Davis, Dominic Smith, Robinson Cano. Wait, that's not gonna work out. So if I keep Dominic Smith as the DH, you got J.D. Davis, Luis Guillorme, Robinson Cano. I think that should be it, and Travis Jankowski. I think that's the four that's going to be on the bench. You got your utility outfielder in Jankowski. Obviously, Dominic Smith could play left field and play first base. Guillorme could play second, third, and short. And J.D. Davis can play third base. So third base and DH for J.D. Davis. So I think that's the bench. Your bench would be Travis Jankowski, Luis Guillorme, Dominic Smith, and J.D. Davis. That's what I see the four guys on the bench. Again, you don't need a big bench anymore because of the DH. Carlos, April 10th. Let's see. Probably be Carlos Carrasco. Yeah, definitely Carlos Carrasco. Oh, yes. Nito, exactly. So 5 guys on the bench. Nito, Jankowski, Smith, Davis, and Guillorme. April 10th. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's going to be Carlos Carrasco on the mound for the Mets. The Sunday game against the Nationals. Carrasco. Hopefully the Mets are 3-0 by then. But yes, MB, this is going to be a very nice test for for Carlos Carrasco. This is basically the lineup you'll see for the Houston Astros in the season. So I'm definitely curious to see how Carrasco is going to do against this lineup. Very interesting to look at. Brad, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for tuning in. Sorry you caught the end of the stream, but that's okay. So we got about a few more minutes, guys. Get your questions in. Get your answers, your opinions, anything you need to talk about in the next couple of minutes, guys. Carlos, you're welcome. Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, don't forget to hit on that like button. So when I end this stream, it can go at the top of the list as a replay so more people can check it out and check out the season preview that I had my predictions for the lineup, rotation, bullpen, and overall record for our New York Mets. So if you did miss it, sorry about that. Brad, I'm probably not gonna do. I'll probably do one more stream, for a spring training game next week, because I'm gonna be focusing on the 3 videos I'm going to do for the NL East, which is lineup rankings, rotation rankings, and overall record rankings for the NL East. So one more game for the spring training going live, which will probably be sometime next week. Maybe I'll do April 5th, the last spring training game before they go up north for opening day. Maybe I'll do it then, but one more game for sure for spring training. Mets actually to pitch tonight. All right, don't blow it. Well, Lane, if everything works out properly and there's no rainouts, it's looking like it's going to be Chris Bassett on the home opener. Let me see if I'm gonna do a quick little rundown to see if it works. See if it is Chris Bassett. Let me see. I think that's who it is though. Let's see. All right, let's see. Here we go. So DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, Carrasco, Walker. DeGrom, Scherzer. Yeah, Chris Bassett should be, if there's no rainouts, Chris Bassett should be the pitcher for the home opener on April 15th. Cade, if he's an MVP player this year, the Mets are in for a very good season. Brad, no problem, buddy. Yep, so Bassett should be the guy on the home opener on April 15th. If everything works out with no rain delays, we should be seeing Chris Bassett, which is a pretty decent home opener if you ask me. Granted, it would have been Jacob deGrom if he played on March 31st, but, we can't, obviously. So Chris Bassett on the mound on home opener, no complaints from me. Should be a very long day for Mets fans. You not only have opening day, You not only have Jackie Robinson Day, but you also have Tom Seaver statue reveal day. So all day is going to be very interesting. I'm going to probably be at the ballpark probably at like 9 in the morning, probably, so I can get my parking spot, set up my pregame show. I'll probably doing it from the parking lot, get a nice little background of City Field, do a nice little pregame in the morning, so I can take a little tour around City Field outside like I normally do. The statue is obviously going to be there, so it's going to be interesting. So be ready on April 15th to get an early live pregame show around like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that will be fun. So once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, Carlos Carrasco is going to be pitching for the Mets tonight against the full lineup for the Houston Astros. I mean, the lineup that you will see in the season. So a big test for Carrasco. So it's going to be very interesting to see Carlos Carrasco tonight. And one more time with the Mets lineup: Brandon Nimmo, Starlin Marte, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Robinson Cano, Eduardo Escobar, Mark Canha, J.D. Davis, and James McCann. So that is your lineup and your pitching matchups for tonight in Port St. Lucie. Carlos Carrasco and Jose Urquidy. And that's what we're going to see in about 10 minutes. All right, guys. So once again, I really appreciate all you guys hanging on today for the last 2 hours for the 2022 season preview for the New York Mets lineup predictions, rotation predictions, bullpen predictions, and of course, record predictions. So there you go, guys. If you missed out on all of that, guys, just replay it if you have time, guys, or just listen to it while you're watching the Mets game tonight. I really appreciate all the support, guys. Once again, guys, don't forget, in the next couple of days, guys, I will be doing videos on the lineup rankings for the NL East, the rotation rankings for the NL East, and overall records for the NL East. So check those videos out in the coming week before opening day. Everybody who plays MLB The Show 22 comes out tomorrow. Enjoy, guys. Once again, guys, have a good night. Hopefully Carrasco pitches good. As always, Met fans, let's go Mets. Have a good night, guys.